This is what we're dealing with, people. Oh, I don't know if I like this. I'm in full-on grub mode, and this is still extremely bright. Excuse me while I figure out how the hell to work my new lighting system. All sorts of fancy. Is that better? Worse? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, the reason I'm wearing a hood and everything slicked to the back here is because I'm a bit of a grubby mess, but I just don't feel like showering quite yet. I figured it's this late in the day. I'm gonna shower later, right before I go to bed, so I can like go to bed with like clean skin and stuff. But here's a little preview of my bedroom. Again, full new apartment tour will be coming, but that is not for today. Today, because I still have a couple of things I need to finish up putting together and putting in place, is a coffee and cauldrons. We will be drinking wine for this. So, if you don't know, Coffee and Cauldrons is a series on my channel where I go over personal things that happen within my craft, my practice. A lot of it has been deity experiences, things I've experienced with like weird dreams, weird occurrences, meditations that I've done and how they have evolved. But something else has happened recently and I thought, let's talk about it. This is kind of fun. Now, as always, this is my personal experiences, my personal beliefs, and I will kind of talk through how I got into certain mindsets and why I was kind of freaking out about this stuff in a minute. Because I think it all plays along, but also as always, like, it's my craft, it's my expression of it. We can always discuss and have fun things, but if you're gonna be weird and judgmental about stuff, just turn off the video, find someone else. Because every craft and experience is extremely personal, yada yada yada. So, if you've noticed from the title of this video, I made a lovely puppet. I did this after it was suggested by Kellyanne Maddox, and the concept is always very meaningful to me. I definitely had some shadows in facing it, and a lot of those shadows I guess kind of got confronted. Now this could have been a thing that happened because low-key it could have been the universe itself going, hey, we need to talk about the thing, like, let's talk about the thing, and just forcing me to face my fears with it. Or it could just be I'm a clumsy ass witch and shit happens sometimes. I don't really know. But this is my puppet. I made it from an old t-shirt. It has in it my hair cutting, some nails, blood, spit, what have you. It is in here. Also knit together, also with a, there's a pentacle for protection and embodiment sewn into here, along with a couple of protection herbs and a little bit of a protection oil. Like, there's a whole, so much protection is wrapped around this because I had so many shadows and weird things with it. And I was mostly using it for self-love as a way to connect, in a sense, with my higher self and just, I don't know, sometimes direct myself and know that I have the ability to be what I would consider selfish with my magic. I have no problem with like minor amounts of my magic going towards me, but there's definitely this overall, I don't know, anxiety I guess I feel when I feel if I put too much of my energy towards myself that the universe in some way is going to backhand me for that. Like, it's too much energy focused on me means something bad will happen to me in a weird way. I don't know, it's a weird thing I'm kind of trying to wrap my mind around. So this little buddy was very well protected, was used in my Samhain ritual this past year, and I had definitely gotten to a bit of a habit of whenever I felt a little nervous or stressed or just, you know, really felt like I needed to take a minute and refocus and find the happiness and the joy again in things, I would go to my altar and sit with my puppet, and that was just kind of how it was. It wasn't anything too complicated, and I was reaching for it and reaching for it and reaching for it. And then I remembered asking my mom, because I was feeling really connected with my puppet and the holidays were feeling a certain level of stressful, like as many as they can. For me it was because I was traveling a bunch, and even though I was only gonna be with my immediate family and they knew my feelings about majority of the holidays that happen this time of year, they know I'm pagan, etc. and so forth, I always bring with me a deck of tarot cards. And then I wanted this time to actually bring my puppet with me. I've been gotten to the habit of sleeping with it, connecting with it. I put it under my pillow as a way to like guide self-loving dreams, this type of thing, and I wanted to bring it with me. But one of the things that is going on is my mom's currently renovating our house, and since we were spending both Thanksgiving and the Yule Winter Fest Christmas season also at my mom's house, and I didn't quite know if the renovations were going to be done in time, and because of that it might have been that we're like, me and my sister would have to share a room together. Then before, not a big an issue, except for the fact that she has 2 little dogs that I love very, very much, but oh, I hate sleeping with them as it is because they have to be all up in your feet and it makes me nervous and wakes me up in the middle of the night and all that stuff. Like, ugh, I can't. I don't like it. My cats sleep at the very end of my bed and they do not mess with me at all. I can't do it. I just don't sleep well. But also, if I want to sleep with this under my pillow, it looks a lot like the chew toy. So I was very just, I don't know if I want that. But my mom assured me that the renovations would be done and there'd be 2 separate rooms for us to sleep in. There is one that's an actual guest room, and then in her house is also this study that she has, which has a Murphy bed situation. And I was like, great, I'll have the Murphy bed. My sister can lock her dogs in the room with a more substantial door. And then I can, you know, sleep with this without having to worry that a dog is going to find it in the middle of the night and I'm going to have a bit of a panic attack over that. So I arrived for Thanksgiving. I arrived really, 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 really late because that's the flight I could fit into my schedule. And as I walk into the house, I realized that the study Murphy bedroom is entirely full of bins and boxes all the way to the ceiling. It is all locked up. The floors have not been finished at all, and no, I'm sleeping with my sister in the guest room, and this immediately changes all my plans. There's no really place for me to put my suitcase anywhere that a dog couldn't get to, so the only way for me to really keep this and also my tarot deck safe was to take it and to put it into a drawer. I tried to do some tarot readings in times, but life just got too hectic with that, and so I didn't really ever pull them out. I just kind of kept them in the drawer and didn't think of anything else beyond that. Well, upon repacking and getting on the plane, guess who forgot to take this lovely out of the drawer? Me. This witch right here. No. I didn't even notice that it was gone right away because I forgot, and I didn't even realize the tarot deck that I had brought was gone because I use one tarot deck as my everybody else can touch a deck, everyone else can use, not a big deal, whereas my personal deck is my Right Away tarot deck, and that one is always kind of kept on my altar. If it is brought with me in person, I am extremely protective of it. It stays in my purse type of deal, and I brought my other tarot deck so I wouldn't have to be stressed out about it. So it took about a week and a half for me to realize it was gone, and the moment I realized it was gone was because I had huge amounts of just weird feelings in my chest. I was super emotional. I felt so disconnected from my altar. I would sit down on it, it didn't seem to do anything, and I just realized, I was like, oh hey, well, one of the things you haven't done now in several weeks time is you haven't done any sort of self-love ritual or connection with your poppet. Find your poppet, go do the thing. It always makes you feel better. This is the reason you made the thing. So when you have these things, you can reach for this type of magic. And the poppet was missing. Oh, the heart attack I had. I immediately called my mother. I was like, I just want you to open the drawer. Don't touch it. Don't, just. Ugh, the camera died, so we're doing this all again. But where was I? The poppet was missing. Missing, and so thankfully it just stayed in the drawer, which was whatever. I was going back literally within a week because my father had a surprise birthday party. Things happen, yada yada yada. I would be lying if I didn't say that, hey, during that time I felt even more anxious. The fact that I was kind of using this as my new crutch a bit in my magic. It was my thing I was leaning on. It was showing me promise, and you know, it's like the same way where, like, if you work out, you start a new diet, and then suddenly, like, they don't have your favorite health food at the grocery store, or, you know, maybe you injure yourself while you're working out and you can't do it no more. It was like I didn't have the thing that I was using for my self-love, and I felt icky, you know, right? Like, I wanted it, and I wanted to snuggle it and feel close to it again and do my whole meditation thing with it, and I couldn't do it because it was far away. And this also comes up to the whole belief thing. Now, one of the reasons I had a really big issue with even playing with a poppet for a while is because I operate basically on this idea, and I vacillate between the two, I guess, that whatever you believe will happen to you. If you believe it's magic, it will work, because it is our belief, our intention, our energy cast into something that is the actual magic. And when you believe something, it will happen, but changing your beliefs isn't as simple as recognizing, hey, I don't want that to happen. Beliefs are much more ingrained. It isn't a logical sense, it's a thing that's there, right? And I also sometimes play with the fact that, hey, maybe our world is more made up of hard and fast rules, at least for this lifetime, that we have chosen to operate within. And regardless of our beliefs, maybe we can't really break out of those. But for this, I realized, do you know that meme where, maybe I'll find it, but that meme where it's from Pirates of the Caribbean and Calypso is talking to Jack Sparrow and she's got the jar of dirt and she gives him the jar of dirt because it's a jar of dirt. She's like, yes. And he goes, will the jar of dirt help? And she goes, if you don't want it, give it back. And he goes, no, like, my jar of dirt. And she goes, then it helps. Like, totally my perspective on magic. Like, yes, like, if you think it's gonna help, it's gonna help. If you don't think it's gonna help, it ain't gonna help. And I literally felt like I had my jar of dirt, which is now my poppet, and I thought it was going to help and do things and protect me or whatever else. And like, I forgot my jar of dirt. In that I thought, hey, this is directly connected to me. This is probably the first thing magically that had such a deep tied connection to me. I had used blood magic and probably like 3 other spells, and that was a big thing for me for a long time, and there's definitely my blood in this. So it was, you know, if a dog got a hold of it, or if someone just touched it and had their weird energy, and like what could have happened to my puppet, and would that then negatively affected me in any way, shape, or form? And like I when I get this way, when I'm like, I don't know if this could negatively affect me when it comes to magic, I cast so much protection magic, it is not even funny. I go full on crazy with my protection magic in that sense, because I know it's a sense of uneasiness, of worrying too much, that, and that worry is a sense of belief, and if that belief manifests a little too strongly, you know, I'd rather not. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm worried, here's some protection magic. They should cancel each other out. It'll be fine. Again, like I said earlier, so much protection magic with my little buddy, so it would all be fine. I go back in a week. Suddenly it's funny how I was anxious. I even put an alert in my phone. And this is where I think the universe kind of intervened, possibly Loki, who really knows, that I put a note in my phone to say, hey, a day before I leave, I need to remember, get the damn poppet out of the drawer where it's being kept and put it in my suitcase, put it in my purse so I can take it home with me. And so I go to my dad's surprise party. The minute I am there, it feels like all, like, even though it was very anxious reading, because we're trying to surprise my father, I don't know if we're gonna get everything in time. I was basically in hiding. I wasn't supposed to be there. Like, my dad thought I was elsewhere. And the party goes off without a hitch. I don't have any weird anxiety. I'm feeling fine. Well, the camera dad I found chocolate chips, so a little chocolate, little wine makes everything better. So I set the alarm on my phone to remember to put my poppet in my purse for like 4 p.m. I thought it was at 9. There'd been no reason for me to have missed or forgotten or anything else about that, right? The alarm didn't go off. No, when it went off was not 1, but 2 days later, and it went off at like noon. It made 0 sense to me. I was like, oh my god, 1, my poppet is still in that stupid drawer, and 2, the fuck is my technology? I set up to do this to make sure I would take it and pack it and it would all be fine, and it all went wrong. It all went to hooey, and I was like, oh no. And this is when I started thinking, is this like low-key stepping in and going, it's fine, you cast your protection magic, stop freaking out about it? Maybe. Or was it something else? Was it, you know, the universe going in and saying like, hey, like you have so much, you were using the poppet as a tool, but you don't need the tool to do the thing. And true, you don't need any witchcraft tool to do the witchcraft. Technically, I can just be me and make magic happen. Yes, but I have something very particular with the whole concept of pushing us to make major steps in our beliefs, in our mindset too soon. I think it's the whole concept when you're trying to educate people, the idea of like meeting them where they're at. I think you need to really meet yourself where you're at, and having these high expectations of like, I'm gonna turn around tomorrow and become like all-powerful manifester, or I'm gonna turn around tomorrow and have all the self-love and can do it without any extra tools, or I'm gonna turn around tomorrow and have a total handle on my health and be able to do all the healthy habits that build good health, and I don't have to worry about my negative bad habits anymore. It's just not, I think, productive in any way, shape, or form, and not really realistic, and especially when it comes to magic, and because you're dealing specifically with your belief set so much time, because you're dealing with what you're intending, and because your beliefs feed into all of that. That is a really hard, it's one of the things where I think someone's like, oh, just change your mindset, oh, just change your belief set, and it's like, that is so much easier said than done. It is not even funny. Like, so many times I'm like, yeah, okay, I now believe this, and then months later I realize that that is just a lie I've been telling myself, while a shadow just feeds on something weird and behind the scenes. I wait and wait and wait to the week of December 25th, and I do a very small, almost insignificant Yule ritual with my new apartment and some abundance ornaments I put on my little Yule tree on my altar, my last place. And then I landed again, and I almost forgot again until I realized I was angry and upset, and I was literally ranting at my sister, and there reached a certain point when I was like, I am ranting and going off and so frustrated with everything. Why am I like this? What weird ass inconceivable notion could be there for why I am ranting in this way? Like, I was really like pissing her off. Like, I could kind of tell. She didn't want to act that way, but I could tell. And I was doing the same thing with my parents a little bit earlier that night before they went to bed. Like, it was a thing. And a thought popped in my head being, your poppet's in the other room. You've been separated from your poppet for now a full fucking month. Go get your fucking poppet. And I like jumped out of the chair. We were like talking to the family where I ran to the guest room, which at the time, like, now is not my room, because now the study where I'm sleeping is open. And I ran in, I grabbed my tarot deck, and I grabbed my poppet, and my sister goes, what are you doing? And I immediately like was like protective of it. Like, I didn't even want to I didn't want her to even look at it. I was like evil eye levels of, no, mine, my baby, mine. It was funny how, like, when I meditate with this, you notice I'm touching it to myself. It's very like a touch association thing. When I press it to my chest here, it is immediately a feeling of deep connection, and it's funny how when I feel this, I can feel like arms around me, like a higher self or something, like grabbing onto me, and so much it's just love coming from me, so circling back on me through the concept of the poppet, right? And so I did this, and I protected it, and immediately felt all that weird anger and tension leave me. It was just such a catalyst, which was weird for me because it had been a catalyst ever since Samhain up into the first week of December, or Thanksgiving time frame. You know, that was only a few, weeks at most, and okay, well, that was, for me, sometimes isn't enough to build a habit, but, and then suddenly I broke the habit for weeks at a time because I forgot where this was, and like, immediately I put this to me, and I was like, oh. And so because of this, I find it's very interesting to then take on the idea of value in a tool, like a poppet. Because it's extremely valuable in the sense that it helps. Extremely valuable in the sense that, hey, this thing, immediately I have a tie in my head that this is going to help me. This is going to lead me into doing something pretty damn awesome, and I'm all about it. Yet, at the same time, it was such a cause of anxiety and worry, and I had to wonder, was, like I said before, is it my belief in the thing? Is it that I want the jar of dirt and so the jar of dirt helps? Or if I think the jar of dirt is going to hurt me, therefore it hurts me? Was it that? Or was it that I had created this extremely important, deep, magical connection with this for the purpose of self-love, and because of that it could also mean that my separation from it could invoke certain uncertainties, nerves, over emotional states with the flux and changes. It was such, like, I moved, but like it was a minor change comparatively to the rest of 2019 as a whole. The things I went through during that time when the poppet wasn't in my possession was lackadaisical. It wasn't that big of a deal, and yet I felt such a high level of just Like I remember looking at the planets at the time going like, okay, it's nothing there should really be triggering this all this much. Like what is this weird ass shadow? So I now pose the question a little bit to y'all. This is my story and kind of concluding going, I'm still going to use my poppet. I definitely think there's a deep connection, and quite honestly, I don't necessarily know how deep this connection goes. If someone with ill content got a hold of this, could they hurt me with it? I honestly believe there's so much protection around it that it couldn't, but the idea that there was that much anxiety, that much separation did come up for me, and it was maybe a shadow I have to fight. The idea that, hey, if something is important to you, if it's valuable to you, and it's taken from you, it is going to hurt, but maybe not as much as you think. You know, it's survivable, it's whatever. Or the context of, hey, if something is important, if you're going to believe in the magic and these rules and this concept that, yeah, this is a thing, then maybe you have to accept that that means that it's not just for benefits, that it could be for detriments as well. All of that. You know, I'm kind of vacillating between the two. I don't really know how I feel. I do know it's my jar of dirt, for sure. And regardless of whether or not the jar of dirt could hurt me, I definitely think jar of dirt does help me, so I'm keeping the poppet. Definitely for now, it's definitely my baby. It just smells like, ugh, all my favorite incense and happiness all in one. So anyway, that was this episode of Coffee and Cauldrons. Excuse my grubby state. The next video will be the actual full tour of my lovely apartment. So I will see you guys next time.